You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down.
Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. So whenever you feel alone, just remember that those kings will always be there to guide you.
I don't think it is very useful to speculate on what God might or might not be able to do. Rather, we should examine what he actually does with the universe we live in.
We are all explorers, driven to know what's over the horizon. The most profound discoveries are not necessarily beyond that next star. They're within us, woven into the threads that bind us.
Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Moon Day. I hope you got some rest this weekend or maybe had a little bit of fun this weekend and you're starting your week off with a new, fresh energy. The Aries Moon can definitely help us do that. The moon moved into Aries over the weekend and brought a fresh energy with it. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It makes us want to start things. So you might be feeling that a little bit this morning. We have Michael in the chat. Good morning, Michael, and Julian as well, ready for this Monday morning. I'm curious how everybody's weekends played out. Let me know if you're tuning in now, if you felt the intense energy of that Venus-Pluto conjunction on Saturday. We talked a lot about that on Friday, and we're still feeling that a little bit. Venus and Pluto are still within a degree of each other today. Really, the only major connection that's actually happening today still is that conjunction between Venus and Pluto. But also on Saturday, we had a sextile between Mercury and Jupiter. We also had a square between the Sun and Neptune late Saturday night. So a lot of energy coming at us over the weekend. But it was kind of sandwiched between some really low-key days in the stars, and we're kind of seeing that pattern play out again. So we have some movement today, and then a lot of this week is fairly calm leading up to the full moon on Saturday. So we'll be talking a lot about the moon this week, actually, as we look ahead to the transits. But you know what? Speaking of, let me show you what we have coming up in the planets before we jump into the major movements we're talking about today. 2 planets moving into new signs today. One happened this morning, one will happen tonight. But here's a look at this week in the planets coming up. You can see that Mars enters Sagittarius today and Mercury enters Capricorn today. So we're going to do deep dives into what that means, what energy that's bringing over the next month and a half. Tomorrow, Mars, as it is fresh into Sagittarius, opposes the North Node. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. Then we have a lot of moon transits. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. No major bodies in the solar system are connecting with each other until really next week after the next few days. So the full moon in Gemini is this Saturday. We'll have a long show on Friday talking about what that full moon means for each sign, getting you prepared for it, getting you ready for not only that this weekend, but Venus stations retrograde on Sunday. So this Saturday brought a lot of energy. Next weekend's going to bring a lot of energy. And we've been lucky enough in between to kind of have some more calm weeks ahead of us. So that's a look at what's going on with the planets this week. Here's a look at what's going on with the moon. We have moon in Aries today. It moves into Taurus tomorrow, stays there through Wednesday, then moves into Gemini on Thursday, where it works to become full. The full moon is in Gemini, and then by Sunday, the moon moves into Cancer, bringing us nice, cozy, comfy, down-to-earth vibes, definitely making us want to spend a little bit more time at home when the moon is in Cancer. So Sunday looks like a nice rest day for whatever Saturday brings, especially with that full moon in Gemini. I just keep seeing like celebrate, socialize. Gemini loves to talk and be around people. And with this being the last full moon of 2021, I think a lot of people are going to want to be around friends and family. It's the holiday season. You know how that goes. So that's a look at the week ahead, just briefly. Now let's talk about the two major transits happening today. So take a look at the chart right now, and you'll see that Mars is at 0 degrees in Sagittarius now. So it's happening. Mars is officially in Sagittarius. And it's actually forming this conjunction, or coming into this conjunction, with the South Node. We'll be talking about this more tomorrow because it becomes exact tomorrow, but the Mars is opposing the North Node, or starting to. So that'll be the main energy of tomorrow, but we'll certainly start to feel that today. So what does it mean when Mars enters Sagittarius? Well, let's talk about where Mars has been coming from. It's been in Scorpio for the past month and a half or so. And when Mars is in Scorpio, we can feel like our motivations are coming from a place of depth, because Scorpio really rules those deep inner emotions. So a lot of times our actions the past month have probably carried a lot of weight or a lot of intensity. And you might have been just more introspective in general about what actions to take, what's the next step ahead. It might have felt too like every action you took or every step forward carried a lot with it, either emotionally or physically or whatever it was. It probably just felt a lot more intense. Things lighten up with Mars in Sagittarius, which is nice. Mars is comfortable in Scorpio, so we've probably been motivated, having this deep motivation as we go towards the end of the year. And now that Mars is in Sagittarius, I think we can have a little bit more fun, which is nice. Definitely a nice energy for the holidays. We'll be kind of in that party mode. Sagittarius loves a party. And let's talk about each of these energies and what happens when they come together. So Mars is known as the god of war. It rules our action, our drive, our stamina, our motivation. It's that animal instinct, kind of that masculine energy when it comes to passion and desire, that physical aspect of sex, aggression, survival. So you're getting an idea, a feel for that Mars energy, right? So Mars in Sagittarius. Well, Sagittarius is the sign of the archer. It's very expansive. Sagittarius energy loves travel, the pursuit of truth, philosophy, abundance, confidence, optimism. So you can see why I said, freedom, adventure. That's more of like this external party energy. So when Mars has been in Scorpio the past month and a half, our actions have probably been more internally focused. Scorpio really likes that deep emotional shadow work. Sagittarius is a much more external energy. And in fact, right now, because Mercury is still in Sagittarius until tonight, so you'll see, let me pull up our chart here. We have a stellium in Sagittarius for most of the day today. We have Mars, the Sun, and Mercury until about 6 p.m. in Sagittarius. So what does that mean? 3 or more planets in Sagittarius. It means that it's going to feel like a Sagittarius day, especially because the moon is also in Aries, also a fire sign. This is a fiery day. You might be waking up feeling more energy today, feeling excited, feeling ready to tackle your goals, maybe optimistic. Those are all Sagittarius qualities. So today we get like a real boost of Sagittarius energy before Mercury moves into Capricorn around 6 p.m. tonight. So that's kind of the energy dominating the day. And Mars is in Sagittarius until, I want to say, January 24th. Okay, so he's hanging out there for a while. And while Mars is in Sagittarius, we just went over kind of what these two energies mean. What can we expect overall in our lives? Well, like I said, our actions will be more external, but they'll also be more spontaneous and adventurous. You might just get that urge to drop everything, drop all your plans, and go do something fun, or go out to that nice dinner, or just hop in the car and drive somewhere over the next couple weeks. This also, like I said, is kind of a party energy. It's spontaneous, it's adventurous. It might seem like you're flying by the seat of your pants because you might be. You might be when Mars is in Sagittarius. But what's great about this is while Mars was in Scorpio, we were more aware of our deep motivations when it came to what actions we were taking, what external energy we were putting out. Now that we've gone through that, we have done that. Venus has moved through Scorpio. Our main inner planets have already made their way through the sign of the Scorpion. We've done a lot of that introspection. Now our actions, being more external, can come from a place of truth because we know ourselves better. We did that deep inner work. Now it's safe to put ourselves out there and know who we are. We know our truth. We know why we're doing what we're doing, even if it is spontaneous. So now is really the time of expansion, and your motivations might be to book that trip with Mars in Sagittarius, or just to take that trip on a whim, you know. Like I said, this is very instinctive, spontaneous energy while Mars is in Sagittarius over the next month and a half. Good morning, Danny and Michael as well. We have multiple Michaels in the chat this morning. Love to see that. I love all the guys coming in. Also, like, my dad is calling me right now while I'm streaming live, so if you're wondering what that buzzing sound was, there you go. He knew there was a lot of male energy in the chat, and I guess he just wanted to join. Okay, so we talked about Mars in Sagittarius. Now let's talk about Mercury in Capricorn. Mercury, the messenger planet, moves into Capricorn around 6 p.m. tonight. So let's show you where Mercury is now and what it's going to look like in about 12 hours or so. So Mercury, we haven't been getting a ton of action with Mercury lately because it's just been hanging out at the end of Sagittarius. Now that it's moving into Capricorn, our thoughts become a little bit more practical, more serious. Mercury in Sagittarius, you might remember us talking about this when Mercury moved into Sagittarius about 3 weeks ago. It was kind of like, okay, slow down a little bit, watch your words. You might be blurting things out before you even realize what you're saying with Mercury in Sagittarius, which is actually, Mercury is not super comfortable in Sagittarius. It's at fall in Sagittarius because it's in the opposite sign of its ruler, Gemini. So your communication might have been a little bit more impulsive or just not as clear as you wanted it to be over the past 3 weeks or so. Now that Mercury's in Capricorn, things get a little bit more serious. So now let's take you through the energies that are blending with this transit. So Mercury, as I mentioned, is the messenger. It rules our communication, our rational mind, our thoughts, our words, our reason. It's how we learn, it's how we teach, it's our speech, it's that analysis aspect. You're getting the idea. Capricorn is the goat of the zodiac. It's the father of the zodiac. It loves to climb. It rules that ambitious energy, structure, goals, stability, responsibility, wealth, long-term plans, karma, patience, all things ruled by Capricorn. And so you can see our communication will likely slow down quite a bit with Mercury in Capricorn. And also, our thoughts might just be more serious or more about those long-term plans. So Mercury stays in Capricorn until the end of the year. January 1st is when Mercury moves into Aquarius, which should be a nice, fun energy for the new year. But for the next 3 weeks, while Mercury is in Capricorn, we're thinking more practically. Our thoughts might be more serious, but certainly more responsible. We're able to make those decisions that will support our long-term goals. And our thoughts and our decision-making will create this steady foundation to allow us to build off of. So this is a really nice energy for the last 3 weeks of 2021 because it does allow us to look ahead to 2022, and our communication, our thoughts, our words will support whatever goals we have for the new year. And, you know, as I mentioned, with Mars in Sagittarius, we want to take those expansive actions. We might want to book that trip. Well, Mercury and Capricorn can kind of come in and be like, okay, but the budget. Okay, but is this realistic? How will this trip support our long-term plans? How does it affect our long-term budget? It's kind of that restrictor or responsible voice coming in saying like, it's that fatherly voice saying like, hey, are you sure about that? So be careful not to be too serious or let worry or negativity take over, because that can be a byproduct of Mercury in Capricorn. However, we know that it's important to have that voice there saying like, hey, could this be a problem? You know, pointing out any potential red flags. As much as Mars and Sagittarius will want to just keep moving forward and be overly optimistic regardless of what those red flags might be, Mercury in Capricorn helps us slow down, take a look at the big picture, and, you know, just be more responsible. But it can, like I said, make us worry a bit more than we normally do. So be mindful of that. If you're hearing limiting beliefs or lots of thoughts coming in telling you all the things you can't do or all the reasons why you can't do them, just remember that that's not the full story, that's not the full truth. And Mercury will be in Capricorn during about half of Capricorn's season. So we will have a stellium in Capricorn towards the end of the year, bringing that serious energy into a lot of different aspects of our lives. So if you are an earth sign, you'll probably love Capricorn season this year. Tons of stable Capricorn energy. And Capricorn isn't just this serious fatherly tone. It can make us more protective and really more appreciative of our family as well. It's, like I said, the father. So it's all about our ancestors, the history of our family. If you're around older family members, that will certainly feel more nurturing during Capricorn season. And when Mercury's in Capricorn, another great way to use this energy is if you're around family members, specifically older family members, ask them about their lives. Communicate with them about the past, about the history of your family. Learn about that history. That will feel nice for you, but it's a great way to connect with Mercury and Capricorn because Capricorn is all about our ancestors. It's all about that history, the past. And if you are on a healing journey, which you very well might be if you're here watching this, talking to your ancestors that are still alive in your family can be a great way to become more aware of the generational trauma that's been passed down. Even if you have this beautiful, happy life and beautiful, happy family, you know, we all have generational trauma that's passed down, even if it might not be from your grandma. Maybe it was from her mom or her grandma. So this is a great energy to ask your older family members around the holidays what their childhood was like, because it could unlock something huge for you, especially because we have the last square between Saturn and Uranus happening later this month. I want to say, let me find it, Saturn square Uranus on December 23rd. Okay, so 2 days before Christmas, we have this final square between Saturn and Uranus. This energy's been playing out all year. We've had 3 different squares, and it can really change the structure of things or change your long-term plans or just change how you see the karma and the patterns that have been playing out over time, many generations in your family. So that could actually be a pivotal point for you if you are on a healing journey, especially with Mercury and Capricorn. Ask your grandparents, ask your parents, ask your great aunt, ask all the people, have those conversations with family members about the past and about your own family. It could be really, really enlightening. Barry says, do the stars and planets determine our future or just predict it? Oh, you would love to see me back in Reno. You know, is it snowing in Reno right now, Barry? Because I do miss that lovely 6 inches of snow I would get when I lived in Reno. Just the 6 inches. That's all I want. But to answer your question, do the stars and planets determine our future or just predict it? I think that's a matter of personal belief. I don't think that everything is written in the stars necessarily, or I can just look at your birth chart and tell you, you know, what your future holds and lay it all out perfectly. We still have free will, right? I think regardless of most religions, most faiths, most belief systems believe we have free will. So the stars and planets don't necessarily determine our future, but they can show us, I see our birth charts personally as, so on a personal level, I see it as like a code for our DNA almost. It shows us what energy is more present in our lives, what energy we came into this life with, what energies we can lean into a little bit more to take full advantage of our potential. When it comes to the transits, do they determine the future or just predict it? A lot of astrologers can predict major events that are going to happen based on the planets, but I think that that's just a question you have to ask yourself about your own belief system. If you believe in God and that he or she, goddess, created all the planets in the solar system, then maybe the creator does have a predetermined plan for how the planets are moving and the energy it's projecting at us. I don't exactly have an answer to that, but that's kind of the beauty of being human, right? Is not knowing exactly how everything works. I will say, though, that a lot of astrologers predicted that 2020 was going to be a chaotic year and that there was going to be a mass shift when it came to our health, when it came to our security and our sense of self. So over the years, astrologers have predicted major events. There are, J.P. Morgan, Warren Buffett kept astrologers on staff to know when it would be good times to invest. So there's definitely value in looking at what's coming up and working around those energies. We're talking about Mercury and Capricorn right now. This can be a good time to talk about wealth and talk about money. Or talk about those long-term investments, because Capricorn loves money. It's, the workhorse of the zodiac. It likes to work. So, that's another no. When Mercury is in Capricorn, a lot of our communications could surround our work. That's kind of how I see it, predicting the energy, the transits, rather than being like, okay, Mercury's in Capricorn, so this is what is going to happen. It's like, this is the energy that's coming at us, and this is how we can use it, because it's going to affect us all a little bit differently. I hope that makes sense. All right, we talked about Mars moving into Sagittarius this morning, Mercury moving into Capricorn tonight. Warren Buffett made a hell of a lot of money too, yeah. Whoever his astrologer was spot on. Now let's talk about what's going on with this Aries moon. So let's back up a little bit here, go back to the current moment, and you'll see the moon is 22 degrees Aries. So we only have a few connections with the moon today. This is a waxing gibbous moon, so it's getting more full every day. And the waxing gibbous moon is really a time, I'm looking up at my moon chart here, to refine your plan and keep moving forward. This is kind of that push forward. And Aries energy helps us, gives us that little pep in our step, that burst of energy to keep moving. You might have woken up feeling that extra energy this morning, especially because at 7 a.m. the moon formed a trine to the sun, a harmonious angle to the sun. So you could see the moon when it was at 21 degrees in Aries was 60 degrees away from, or not 60 degrees, 120 degrees away from the sun in Sagittarius. So this is a trine, this is a harmonious angle. And these energies flow together really nicely. So the moon representing our internal self flows with our external self. Especially with both of these luminaries being in fire signs, you might have woken up with just a little extra energy, a little extra fire, maybe feeling more confident in your own skin, confident in the day ahead. You might even want to make your presence known this morning. You're like, hello, here I am, but not in an overbearing way, just in a like, I got this. I got Monday. I got today. You might even feel like you want to make some bold declarations or just put yourself out there. And doing so today could actually result in good fortune, because this angle between the moon and the sun is a fortunate angle. It can bring about luck, actually. So putting yourself out there, being confident, knowing what you want today can actually really turn out well for you if you're willing to go there. Especially as Mars moved into Sagittarius this morning, we're more confident taking action. We have this more fiery external energy in general with all these planets in Sagittarius today. It can feel easier to just be like, yes, I'm here, this is what I want. And doing so, as long as you're not like overbearing about it, could actually work out in your favor. By 3 o'clock this afternoon, the moon squares off to Venus and Pluto. So remember when I said Venus and Pluto are still in this conjunction with each other, pulling away from this conjunction today. But that means the moon is squaring off to both of them at the same time. So here's what that looks like. You can see the moon when it reaches 25 degrees in Aries, forming this 90-degree angle to both of these planets, Venus and Pluto. So this could bring a little bit of intensity to our afternoon. The conjunction between Venus and Pluto over the weekend might have revealed some intensity or breakthrough surrounding love or money. So now the moon is activating whatever realizations you had, whatever came up for you during the weekend. You might feel that a little bit more by about 3 o'clock Pacific time this afternoon. So this transit specifically can make us feel a little bit more needy, or like we have, what am I trying to say? Impulses, or like compulsive, is that a word? Yeah, needy or compulsive. So we'll want more affection. We'll be like, oh, I just need love right now, or even needy for like money. We might feel a little bit like desperate this afternoon, but also we want power at the same time, because Pluto rules power and control. So we want like control. We might feel like we want to manipulate or control how someone else is treating us, giving us that love that we're yearning for. We just have like this deep yearning for love and affection by 3 p.m. this afternoon, which could bring about a little bit of a scuffle in friendships and relationships if you feel like someone is trying, like they need to read your mind and you just have all these needs that aren't being met. So remember, first of all, people can't read your mind. If you want something, maybe just ask for it. That's a great approach. But also, taking time for introspection during this transit and self-care can be especially helpful. When the moon is in Aries, we're really focused on ourself and our needs and fulfilling our own needs. And sometimes when we have external energies like this square to Venus and Pluto, like I said, it can feel like everyone else needs to fulfill my needs. Aries energy with the moon in Aries is kind of that baby energy. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It's, we just have these, like a baby. You have this instinct and you kind of just cry to have it met. So avoid doing that as your adult self. Avoid crying out for love, affection, or control. And instead, if you're feeling uncomfortable or you're feeling that tension this afternoon, ask yourself what needs aren't being met and how you can meet those needs. Don't wait for somebody else to meet your needs. You have control and power over yourself by meeting your own needs, by taking care of yourself. And that can help you kind of take the power back in this transit. And then the last connection the moon makes is at 7 p.m. Pacific time tonight, and it's a sextile to Jupiter. So the Aries moon has this nice little sandwich today. We start off the day with like a boost and a pep in our step, and we're like, yay, we're feeling good. The moon is trying the sun. This afternoon, things get a little tense, maybe heated. We feel uncomfortable. We feel like needy, and we want this sense of control. But then by tonight is the other half of the sandwich, where things get nicer again. So when the moon forms a sextile to Jupiter around 7 p.m., we have support from the planet of abundance. Our emotions get support from the planet of optimism. Jupiter helps us feel a little better about the week ahead or the direction we're going. We'll also feel more generous under this transit and more genuine as well. Like we're able to show up as our authentic self. So showing up authentically, expressing our truth when the moon forms this sextile to Jupiter will feel especially nurturing, feel really good and supportive. So yeah, it's kind of a similar energy to the one we're feeling right now, but there could be a few snags in the afternoon. So just important to note and be prepared for it. But mostly we have really nice energy today. Some definite energetic shifts with Mars moving into Sagittarius, Mercury moving into Capricorn, the moon in Aries. We've got a lot of fire energy, just a lot of movement in general today. But really nice for a Monday. I like a fiery Monday. Gets us going. All right, let's do an overview and then we will pull a card. So today we have 2 planets moving into new signs. Mars moves into Sagittarius, allowing us to move forward with a little fire behind our action. Sagittarius energy loves expansion and adventure, and with Mars in the sign of the Archer, we're more likely to be spontaneous and adventurous and do things maybe a little bit outside of our comfort zone. Mercury moves into Capricorn tonight. So things get a little bit more serious when it comes to our communications. As we're making plans, our responsibilities will be on our minds. We're able to think more practically and think a little bit more slowly, have more intention behind our thoughts and words. The moon is in Aries today, giving us a little bit of fire, forming a nice connection to the sun this morning, which gives us some confidence, allowing us to show up more boldly. The moon does connect with Venus and Pluto this afternoon, which could bring about some tension, especially when it comes to love or relationships, making us feel a little bit more needy or the need for control. But by tonight, the moon gets support from Jupiter, helping us feel more optimistic and generous once again. That's today. Now let's pull a card. I pulled out the Modern Witches Tarot deck today. And you know, as I always say, I'm not a tarot expert, so I have the guidebook up for us. But I was feeling some tarot cards today. So let's see. This is your time to ask questions as I'm shuffling. Let me know if you're feeling the energy. Yeah, love, money, power. Yep, that's basically, if I had to do this entire forecast in 3 words, they would be love, money, power, probably. Yeah, because... oh, that's a backwards card. Capricorn energy loves money. Sagittarius energy loves money. Aries energy loves power. All the things. How did everybody's weekend go as more people are joining the stream? Did anybody have any intensity this weekend with that conjunction between Venus and Pluto? And like I said at the beginning of this, we're still feeling that energy today with that conjunction between Venus and Pluto. Today's the last day where the 2 planets are within a degree of each other, but as Venus goes retrograde next Sunday, Venus meets up with Pluto again in just about a week and a half. So if you didn't feel it this time around, you'll probably get that second boost of intensity or change maybe when it comes to love and money in about a week and a half. All right. What do we need to know today? The 3 of Cups. Here it is. I love this deck because it's all these, like, it's the Modern Witch deck. So it's all these girls dressed in like modern 2021 outfits, cheersing their 3 of Cups. Okay, what does this mean? What does this mean for us? Oh, someone said just a bad migraine. Oh, I'm hoping you're feeling better now, but it was just a lot of energy in general over the weekend. And it's interesting because it depends on when you got that migraine, but the moon moved into Aries, I believe, on Saturday afternoon, and Aries rules our head. So it's a lot of intense energy when it comes to not necessarily our thoughts, but like our physical head. That could be a reason why. Okay, the 3 of Cups. Let's scroll down in this digital guidebook and see what this card means. One day I'm going to get tarot down where I can just pull a card and tell you what it means, but we're not there yet. We're still learning. All right. We're in Wands. Where are Cups? Here we are. Okay, 3 of Cups. Time to raise those cups high and cheer because there's a celebration in order. You're surrounded by friends who love you and you love them. So now is the time to show it. Either you or a close friend has possibly achieved something incredible, or maybe you're just really recognizing how much they mean to you. Either way, it's time to party. That's a fun card. We love a fun card. Time to party. So Mars in Sagittarius certainly brings the party. That's a party energy. It's all about our physical energy, Mars, and then Sagittarius if you know a Sagittarius, I don't even need to explain to you the party energy. I have a Sagittarius mother, so I am very familiar with the party energy. But yeah, I love that. Time to party with Mars and Sagittarius. And I think it's interesting too, because as we are looking ahead this week towards the full moon on Saturday, as I just keep seeing with this full moon, like celebration, because full moons are a time of celebration. Any sign they're in, it's kind of this time of abundance. You can think of it as our ancestors did when they used the moon phases for farming. The full moon was a time to harvest the crops, because they had more light to work under, and that's just how they did it. So I always think of when I think of the full moon as like this big celebration of everybody having this big feast with all the crops. And with Saturday's full moon being in Gemini, it's definitely going to be a celebration. We'll want to be around other people, we'll want to socialize. So with this Three of Cups card telling us to party, even if you have some work ahead of you this weekend, or maybe you don't have any holiday celebrations you're going to quite yet, I have a feeling this Saturday is going to be a party. Or just feel like a big celebration. It's also the last full moon of the year, so our last big chance to celebrate with the moon phases before 2022. So very fitting that we pulled the Three of Cups this morning. All right, well, that's going to do it for transits today. Yeah, okay, so Saturday, probably right when the moon moved into Aries, if it was in the afternoon, that could have been why you had a headache. And then Julian says his head hurts too, but that's because we hung out with a bunch of Sagittariuses yesterday. So speaking of the party energy, sometimes just being around Sagittarius, you're like, okay, we're in it, we're here, we're down to party. All right. Loving all the feedback about how you guys were feeling just watching. I hope that you are feeling better now and your migraine has gone away. You're ready to start the energy or the week with a fresh energy. So tomorrow we'll be talking about the moon moving into Taurus. Mostly the next couple of days we'll just be talking about the moon, which is nice because we can really hone into our energy when we're talking about the moon. No major planetary transits, but we will be feeling this different energy between Mars and Mercury moving into new signs, getting acclimated to that a little bit today, and just heading towards that full moon on Saturday. Did you miss the crypto show? I did do an episode on Bitcoin last Thursday, but you can find that on thespiritualjournalist.com now, or my YouTube channel, wherever you're watching, as well as you can listen to it as a podcast. Just search The Spiritual Journalist on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. But we will be doing more crypto shows, specifically about different cryptocurrency, probably in 2022, because I realize that a lot of people are intimidated by cryptocurrency and want to learn more about it, but it can feel really scary to get into, and I'm in the same boat as a lot of you. I don't know everything about it, but luckily I have people around me who do know a lot about it, so we're going to be doing more crypto content if you missed that live stream. But you can always go back and watch any of our live interviews on YouTube or listen to them as podcasts. And speaking of live interviews, we do have 2 episodes of The Spiritual Journalist this week. Both of them I'm really excited for. Tomorrow we're talking with my friend Allie, who is also a former news anchor and reporter, left her job and now travels the world. She's an influencer, but has made her passion for travel her full-time job. So we're talking all about that, what it was like having a travel career in the middle of a pandemic. And she has an amazing offering right now for women interested in travel. And then later this week on Thursday, we are talking with an esthetician, but it's not just about, beauty as far as the skin goes. We're talking about beauty from the inside out and her own personal journey, which has inspired me so much because she has shared so authentically on social media, and she was honestly a huge catalyst for my own spiritual journey, just watching someone else be so honest and authentic in theirs. So we have 2 awesome interviews coming up, 10 a.m. Tuesday and Thursday. But if you can't make those, we'll be back tomorrow morning with transits today between 8 and 8:15. So I hope to see you there. And just so grateful you joined me this morning and shared your energy with me and got into the right energy, aligned with the energy for the week ahead. So thank you for being here. I'll see you right back here tomorrow. But until then, stay curious. Thank you so much for joining us and aligning with the energy of the universe today. If you enjoyed this morning's episode of Transits Today, you can join our live astrology discussion every weekday morning right here wherever you're watching. And head to thespiritualjournalist.com to read your daily astrology forecast and browse the Spiritual Shop. The most fun way to help keep these forecasts free and support more content like this is to buy yourself a little something on our website. But if you're feeling extra generous, you can also buy me a coffee to fuel future live streams. Just tap the link in the description or head to buymeacoffee.com and search The Spiritual Journalist. And speaking of, you can also tune in to The Spiritual Journalist, our weekly live interview where we ask our guests questions about everything from crystals and manifestation to mental health and the environment. Those conversations stream live right here wherever you're watching now every Tuesday. I'm so grateful you found us here, and I can't wait for our next conversation.